Hey guys, Paperpup here. So this video is supposed to be a beginner's guide to Hordes IO. It's gonna go over all the classes and itemizations, stats in this game. This game's pretty basics, but there's a lot of different builds, itemizations, stats that you need to pay attention to. Let's start with the 4 different classes in the game. There's the warrior, archer, mage, and shaman. I'm just gonna go over each one of them individually. So let's start with the warrior. The warrior is, pretty generic in most RPGs. They're, the melee DPS in hordes. They're very tanky. They can do moderate amount of damage. They have a decent amount of crowd control as well. They can charge. They can have like an AoE taunt, which forces everyone, including other players, to attack them. The main stat warrior uses is strength. If I switch back over to the game here, and open up the character menu, there's actually a lot of different stats, right? There's strength, stamina, dex, intelligence, wisdom, luck, and beyond that, there's also HP points, HP regeneration, MP, or mana regen, defense, block, minimum damage, maximum damage, attack speed, critical, haste, movement speed, bag slots, which is just your inventory space, and item find, which is a very important stat as well. I'll kind of get back to that. Warrior, your main stat is strength. Secondary stats could be crit, haste, stamina, block. Those are fine as well. So when you go around, make sure you find items that gives you strength. Secondary stat, if the items also has crit, haste, stamina, block, that's okay. And when you level up, you get stat points. So, using stat points, I have 0 right now because I use it all. I'm a max level shaman. I use it already. You can reset your stat points whenever you want. So it's not a big deal if you feel like you mess up or you want to experiment with it a little bit. In addition, if you hover over each arrow, it'll show in green what it actually does to your stats. And these secondary stats are pretty universal. Pretty much every class use it. So let's move on to the archer. Archer is just, like most other MMOs, they use a bow and arrow. They're massive single target DPS, and they're pretty fast. The main stats for archer is dexterity. And again, the secondary stats are the same as the warriors. And actually, these secondary stats are pretty much the same for everyone. Crit, just extra damage. Haste, you attack faster, lower cooldowns. Stamina, you're a little bit tankier. This game is very focused on PvP. Player versus player, and you're going to be spending a lot of time trying to kill the opposite faction. That's why stamina is important, even for a DPS class like the archer, and as well as block. Those two stats are very defense focused. They're not needed. However, players still choose them just because they want to be able to survive a little bit longer in a large scale battle. Alright, the mage has a lot of good area damage, crowd control, has some good buffs. But very similar to the archer, it's a range damage doer. However, more focused on spells obviously than bow and arrow. Their main stat is intelligence, and very, exactly the same secondary stats. And shamans. The shaman is the class that I chose to be the main, and I really enjoy shamans. Shamans are the only class in the game that can heal other players. They deal damage over time, dots. They have cool little abilities that I really like, such as summons, where you just summon your entire party to your location. You have great AoE damaging abilities. I can call them the Swiss Army knife because they can heal, they can do damage, they have utility. You have a ability that turns you into a little warm little grub, and you know, you can run faster. And I've actually seen some shamans that are so tanky they can tank an entire party of enemy players. From tank stats combined with, you know, heals on themselves, as well as, you know, maybe stamina or block. Shaman's main stat is wisdom, and again, very similar secondary stats. So I just want to move on to this last page. Other important stats. You know, these stats are a little bit confusing. They're not around, or they're not really part of other MMOs or RPGs, or other games. But let's talk about real quick minimum damage and maximum damage. So going back to the game itself, I have 74 minimum damage and 96 maximum damage. That means, you know, when I'm casting my abilities, the least I can do is 74 and the most I can do is 96. It's kind of confusing. I am a shaman. Shaman again does damage, but they can also heal. They're the only class in the game that can heal. So as a shaman, minimum damage and maximum damage also affects my healing. It's kind of confusing because that's minimum damage, max damage. But yes, it does affect your healing as well. So if you increase your minimum and max damage, it increases your healing. It's not too big of a deal. Like most of my items, I probably won't be looking for minimum max damage. You know, that kind of comes with wisdom. But that's just something to know. The next stat here is luck. Luck is very well connected to item find. Let's start with luck. Going back to the game here. So if I mouse over to luck here, you see it gives crit chance 0.02%, which is virtually nothing. You know, I mean, I do have a lot of luck, so it does add up. But the main thing you can see that it gives is item find 0.5%. Yeah, the reason why luck is important is because of the item find stat. And obviously the item find, I put it in huge letters here, because item find on items is even more important than luck. So if you look at, say, this is not my item find gear, so let me just open up my baggie here. So say I look at this item right here. It gives 10 luck and 15% item find. So that's 20% item find on one item. The reason why item find is important is because you're grinding the whole game. Right when you start the game, you're grinding, you're going to be leveling up. At the same time as you're killing all these mobs to level up, they'll be dropping, you know, copper, monies, and different items. Once you reach max level, item find becomes even more important because that's when you really start focusing on getting the best gear. And when you have high item find, the mobs that you'll be killing will be dropping more loot, better loot, rare loot, you know, more copper, and all of that will just help you, especially at the end game, to just find the items you want or make money. Yeah, so that's why item find is really important. At, you know, a good item find level at the end game would be 300%. That's kind of like the base item find percentage that you would kind of want to go for, especially if you're with a, you know, farming party. I've seen players all the way up to like 420% item find, maybe even higher. But yeah, so item find is probably one of the most important stat when it comes to farming and grinding for gear. So that's pretty much it. That's all the basic information that you'll need when it comes to the classes and the statistics. This game is a little bit more confusing than others. But moving on, I do want to talk about some basic tips that would help, you know, new players get into the game. So in this game, you are grinding a lot. You're usually grouping up with players up to 10. You know, like group of these guys, or maybe a group of those guys over there. Oh, those guys are PvPing. But anyways, you'll be grouping up with other players to level. You could do it yourself, however, the experience is going to be a lot slower. You're going to kill things a lot slower, obviously. I'd recommend finding a group. So finding a group is pretty easy. Pretty much all you have to do is go on the top left corner right here. You can't see it because my webcam is covering it. So pretty much you just go up here on the top left and you press find party. Find party will automatically put you into a group. Sometimes it doesn't do a good job. It puts you with players that are way too high level for you or too low level for you. In that case, you just want to leave the party and try to find a new one. The second thing advice I have for you guys is to save money. You know, pick up as much stuff as you can. Try to sell them to the trader over here, or there's even like an auction house merchant right here that you can sell to other players. Because mainly, you know, at level 30, you can go to the trader here and you can actually get a mount. However, the mount costs at a minimum of 28 gold. Of at least, you know, it costs 20 gold to train, and then 8 gold or 16 gold depending which mount you want. These two guys, the Grubling and the Spider, they're the same speed, even though Spider costs twice as much as the Grubling. They're the same speed. There's really no difference other than appearance. That's something I didn't know when I first started the game. And the last quick beginner's advice I want to give you guys is that the max level currently at this game is 45. However, I think everyone should oh, the server just restarted. However, everyone should consider the max level in this game actually is level 40. The reason being is because how the PvP system works in this game. In this game, you only can attack players of the opposite faction that are 5 levels above of you or 5 levels below you. So in that range. So when you hit level 40, you're allowed to attack players that are level 35, and you're allowed to attack players that are level 45. Despite being 5 levels lower, you're actually not that much weaker than level 45s. But, you know, if you reach level 45, for example, you wouldn't be able to attack level 35s. On top of that, it's actually really quick to get to level 40. You know, people can do it in one day, you know, one long day of playing if they know what they're doing. But, however, it took me like 4 or 5 days just to reach level 45 from level 40. So to get the last 5 levels, it takes a long time, and there's not a lot of benefits from it. Again, that's my recommendation. Once you hit level 40, that should be kind of considered your max level, and then you should really start focusing on farming for gear and extra gold. But yeah, so and as you're farming for gold and gear, you will be leveling yourself anyways. So that's why, you know, don't focus too much on, you know, just grinding out the levels. Focus on getting your item find skill to 300%. So all this information you guys should know getting into the game. There's a lot more advanced strategies that people use when itemizing and allocating their stat points, but for now this is a good starting point for all players to start leveling with. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be posting more videos of Horde.io. As well, follow me on twitch.tv/paperpup. If you guys have any questions, definitely put a comment down below, or you can always hop into my stream and ask me live there. Alright guys, catch you later.